Did you send me a request?
Hi besties, hi bunnies. Coffee's cold, truce brewing. Let's hit the road. Just Machado wheel in hand, time to unfold. Early light breaks, coffee chilling in my grip. Hi besties, hi bunnies, join the trip. Cruising mass highway, spilling secrets for hours. 1 to 3 deep, no holds barred, owning our power. Squad's got my back, riding waves through the storm. Besties and bunnies, keeping it warm. Got that wild spark, singing random and free. Keeping the vibe alive, just you and me. Trolls creeping in, haters twisting the feet. Weak shots flying, but they can't plant the seed. Jabbing in my style, my fire, my rise. Obsessed in the shadows, watching with jealous eyes. Drama stirrers calling drift, but facts don't lie. While y'all view my lights touching the sky. Reddit ghosts lurking, basement critique so low. Keep throwing shade, watch this bunny glow. Meow, 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 meow. Hey. Meow, 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 feel it now. Bunny. Just Machado show, chasing down the real. Besties and bunnies got that unbreakable seal. Meow, 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 trolls fade away. Truth in the air, lighting up the day. After dark or dawn's first gleam, we claim the throne. Justice rolling, meow, if you're in the zone. Meow. Love to my besties trolls. See your truth awaits. Just Machado show. Buckle up. Meow 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow 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 meow. Bunnies.
Good morning. Welcome to 24 on 24. I'm your host, Jess Machado. Undoubtedly, without a doubt, zero doubts, the number one show in all of the continental United States during the 7:30 a.m. time slot. I'm your host, Jessica. Thank you for joining me. It is a goddamn pleasure to be here. I'm leashed and ready to go. I hope you are as well. Thanks for joining me. We just dropped Georgia off at school. We're gonna have a conversation today. There's absolutely nothing that could have happened in this planet that would stop me from going and getting a coffee from Society. So we're just gonna follow our regularly scheduled programming. We're gonna head over to Society. We're gonna talk along the way. We'll probably transition over into the home office like we've been doing for the past week or so. And then we'll put on a show like we usually do, right? There are a couple additional mods here in the chat today because I anticipate a bunch of fucking cups. So I wrenched some people, full carte blanche to delete every troll. Just ban them. Don't even ask questions. This is my space and it's yours too. And we're going to make sure everybody behaves, since everybody likes to boss everybody the fuck around, which goes against everything I believe in because I don't like telling people what to do. Thank you for joining me. Before I begin the show today, I would like to say that I have been offered an opportunity to have Aiden Carney forego his morning bus stop live and come on and have a conversation with me about the events that transpired yesterday. I am open to that, but not on this particular show. So happy to do it for tomorrow. But this is my show. This is my space. And I'd like to be able to say what I want, how I want. And it's my space. So don't get me not having him on my show confused. I slept on it. He, is very of the opinion that, him coming on here and having a conversation like he had with Will is the right thing to do. I have my own opinion on that. I don't need to go on Aiden's show. But if he feels the need to come on mine, I'm open to that. And I listened to some of my, close friends who were saying, I think it's a good idea, but that didn't feel right either. So my feeling is I would be happy to have that conversation, but not on this particular show. This is an important space to be in right now. Further, if he'd like, it could just be a phone call between us. It doesn't have to be on a show. And I think he'll probably say, well, that's rich because everything Jess says about me or to me or in a conversation with me is content. Hasn't been. After you made a very public statement about that, it hasn't been. But with that being said, if you want to have an actual phone call, we can do that too. I'm open to talking to you, but not right now. This is my show. So good morning. I have learned with age and with the advice of a person who was, well, I'll back it up a little bit. Chief Todd Costa was a police officer in the town of Somerset for I don't know how long, 20 some years. He was a police officer when Jeff was in high school because he pulled Jeff over one day when he was skipping school. So he's been in the department that long. And after we had a corrupt police chief here, and we figured that out through the power of elections, we elected a new board of selectmen who did not renew the contract of the corrupt police chief and instead promoted Todd Costa to chief to counteract the corruption that was going on in Somerset. And Todd is one of the most upstanding men in our community. Hasn't always been that way. Had a loud mouth, used to like to fight authority back in the day, but has obviously evolved into, you know, a very sound person of good judgment and good character. Several years ago, I would say 4 years ago now, 4, maybe 5 years ago, I met him for the first time, and it was at a home the night that the old got removed and his contract renewed. There was a lot of happiness going on. I showed up at a house that I had never met these people before. They invited me to come over where a lot of people who helped get these new people elected were there kind of celebrating. And I won't even say that it wasn't celebrating. It was celebrating a shift and a change from corruption to character and, you know, what is right. I walked in the door. I went right over to Todd Costa and I was crying and I gave him a hug because we had accomplished something the right way, which is if you want to get rid of corruption, unfortunately, the only way to do that in Massachusetts is through elections. And many of you who are participating in the campaign of Adam Deitch, you understand how important elections are. Michael Morrissey could continue to get elected and have his reign of terror in Norfolk County, but pressure made it so that he's not running again. And now you all feel that there is somebody that should take his place. And so I see some of you out there with signs and you're out there doing your work, and you all know that I'm a very political person, and I have a lot of respect for people who have figured it out, that the real way to change in Massachusetts is through elections. So congratulations. Todd Costa, in that night, while he hugged me, first time meeting me, he said, it is never what you say, Jessica, it is how you say it. And he had so much of my respect that I really will never forget that moment and that statement. And I almost instantly changed at least my Facebook style of talking in this community. I really, really pulled back. Primarily, I stopped using the word cunt because it isolated the older women in my community who really liked what I had to say, but they cringed at the word cunt. So over the course of years, I have learned that and also to sleep on it. I think anybody who listens to this show for however long, 5 minutes or 5 months, knows that listening to what the Will had on his channel last night was going to be a very difficult thing for me. And indeed it was. I took my laptop, I brought it down into the kitchen. The irony of it all is I was cooking dinner, a late dinner. So I was cooking Philly cheesesteaks for my family because everybody was out doing things and they were all going to be coming home. And I'm in the kitchen cooking, cutting onion, and I get notified of this from the besties. I turn it on, and I had a really difficult time. So I think what happens is when you hear people saying such mean things, it's very hard to take. And I almost did I forced myself to listen. I sat down, I watched, I listened, I was crying, I was angry, I was sad, disappointed. I had a full gamut of feelings. And then at one point, not at one point. At the point where they opened up the lines for other people to come on, I shut it off. At that point, I recognized there was going to be, a ganging on in real time, and I just didn't need to see that. I have gone through and read the transcript of the show because I somehow think that's better for me than listening to some of these people say some stuff. So I went through and I read the transcripts of the show, so I'm aware of what was said. So first and foremost, I hope everybody understands that I don't think that shouldn't have happened. I fully believe that everybody has the ability to use their platforms for whatever they want. They've built it, it's theirs, and they can use it. I would never say, how dare they? I can react and feel emotions about it, but let it be clear, there's no statement here about saying you can't do that. I mean, it's your funeral, but you can do that however you want. Same way I want people to let me do whatever I want, Will can do whatever he wants. And the people who jumped on there, they can do whatever they want to. I live my life by that. Nobody tells me what to do. And it's not nobody tells me what to do, but everybody else has to do something. There's no hypocrite in me when it comes to that. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I encourage it. But there is a lot of hypocrisy that I saw. And let's break it down for what it was, exactly what it was. So Will chose to do a petty stream about Aiden. And if there was any doubt of that, Aiden clearly said it. He said, I saw that you were going to do a petty stream about me, your first petty stream about me. And if I know Aiden, that really upset him. Okay. And by the way, I'm saying all of this with love and kindness for Aiden, right? There's no animosity here. If I know Aiden got very, very upset by that. And he was going to not let that happen. And Will started off strong. And then Aiden wanted to come in because he wanted to stop what was happening, and Will let him come in. And then we got the quote unquote, we're working it out and talking it out in real time. I see that a little bit differently. I see that as Will gave in and, essentially let Aiden come in and control his show, which is the reason why I'm not going to let Aiden come on my show right now, because I'm not going to let that happen. And again, Will can do whatever he wants. But Will had an opportunity to say what he wanted, and then Aiden could have gone on at another time, but I think he snuffed out, what Will was trying to do, which is basically say, I don't like what you did to me, dude, and people are making me look like a pussy. Now, I don't believe for 1 second that Will didn't read Aiden's text messages. We're on our phones 24/7. There's no way that Will didn't read a text message from Aiden. So I think Aiden sent a message. I think Aiden did try to fucking handle it off stream. And Will was like, fuck it, I'm doing it and I don't give a fuck. Only until Aiden came on and then was just like, oh, well, maybe I give a fuck, right? So whatever. I actually really don't care about any of that. It just so happens that I was a topic of this particular stream. I wouldn't be discussing this if it weren't for me. And you know that because I don't talk about Will shit. So there were several statements and comments made by Will that I'm not going to address first. I'm going to address the comments and statements by Aiden. And I'm going to try to do that without being focused. I'm doing other things. I'm driving. We're at Society, but we're in line. So there's a part of the show where Aiden says that Jess Machado, I'm disappointed in Jess Machado. She is very talented. And She has never once read my court documents on screen. And I believe that that is a waste of talent. And when I heard that, the very first thing I thought of was, undoubtedly, my God blessed me with a talent. And I know that when he cultivated that and took his magic wand and tapped me in the head and said, I'm going to give you the gift of being able to give your opinion and talk for 5 hours straight without any help. He didn't say that it was exclusively to suck the dick of Aiden Carney. My gift and my talent existed and was on display before I ever met Aiden Carney. I have been working at what I'm doing for a very long time. I was on the radio doing a political show before I did this show. I was on the radio doing a nighttime hot topics current event show before Karen Reed was ever accused of hitting John O'Keefe. I have been cultivating and working through this, like, I don't, this part of my life for years, before any of these fucking people stepped on the scene. And I did it the hard way, on radio, without a fucking college degree. I didn't graduate from Emerson, which was my dream school. I wanted to go there. I didn't have any support. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't have the money to get there. I went to BCC, dropped out, I had to get a job. Whatever the reason, I was a young mom. I always knew I was talented very early on, but I didn't actually know how to get there. And I didn't have a support system. I didn't have what my kids have, right? Which was somebody to identify your talent and then help you get to that place. And I really think you need that. I didn't have that. Not complaining about it. I'm just telling you the truth. Let's get a coffee. Good morning. Can I have a large iced white chocolate pistachio made with whole milk?
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear your voice today, Derek.
Yeah, you may not see me after this.
I know, but I'm glad I got you today.
Oh, you'll see me.
I know.
All right.
I'll see you at the window. Thank you. Sounds like the last day to hear Derek. How fitting. New beginnings. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, because everybody's listening, so we're going to just make sure the new people here or the first timers hear it. I was very specific about starting a channel after Karen Reed. I watched everybody build their channels around a case and then flounder when the case was over and didn't know what to do until the next trial started. Lose views, lose content, lose subs, and people were just like, they didn't know what to do. So I saw that after trial one, and I was like, well, if I'm going to start a YouTube channel, which I should, because I'm going on other people's YouTube channels and talking and getting them the views, I'm going to wait until it's all done. And I'm not going to focus on Karen Reed. And as far as Aiden goes, I felt the same way. I'm not going to build my channel around court cases because I'm not a fucking true crime reporter. I'm not a crime YouTuber. And in my opinion, Melanie Little exists. And that's it. That's where you go for your info. She never misses. She does exactly what you need her to do. She does it in a great way. It's aesthetically pleasing. She is constantly there. And I depend on her. If I need to see something, I go to Melanie Little first. So I don't need to I don't need to do it because there's the best of the best doing it. And then there's also like a bunch of other people doing it, maybe not so well. I don't need to do that. And sustainability for me is not about focusing on Karen Reed or Aiden Carney. And I am very sorry if I have a different business plan than everybody else, but that's the business plan I have. And I'm new to this, but I'm not new to this. The next piece of that is for anybody that said I built my show on the back of Aiden Carney. Never. I never did. I went and hustled to the Karen Reed trial in a manner, in a way that maybe Aiden Carney doesn't know. But a lot of times Aiden would see me up there with a Mercedes. That was my mom's car. Maybe you saw me with a different car all the time. That's because that was a rental, because I didn't have a good car. And I had a car that was in repo, and I didn't want to drive it up to a courthouse and get fucking it towed. I had to beg my boss to cover Karen Reed when he told me there was no value in it. And I made almost no money doing it, at the detriment to my family and at the detriment to my fucking household and the detriment to my bills. I fucking knew that the right thing and the right place to be was to cover this big murder trial, because if I could just shine when I was there, I could get a following. If I could just fucking show people what I could do at this big place where there were so many people and eyes on it, that I know it's going to work for me. And when it really changed for me is the day that Melanie Little shared one of my tweets. I was in court and I got a text message from a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh my God, Melanie Little is talking about your court reporting right now." And in real time, my phone just started going nuts. I think I got, like, I'm not kidding, like 2,000 followers that day from Melanie Little. It was insane. And that was based on my court reporting that the court didn't show on the TV screen. I was showing juror reactions. I was talking about what nobody could see on camera, because I'm a smart bitch and I understood that everybody in that press box was just typing what everybody else could see on the screen. So why would I do that? Same way as why would I talk about court documents when everybody else is doing it? I did something completely different, which is I talked about what people were wearing, and I talked about what people's faces looked like. And that got the attention of, I think, the biggest law tuber around, Melanie Little. And it paid off. I got a ton of fucking exposure for it. I didn't build anything off the back of Aiden Carney. I built it off of my fucking back and my family and my talent. Now, on the contrary, I have done what I think is a great resume of things for Aiden Carney. And in the beginning, when I first met him, it was a little surreal for me, because this is a man who wrote an article about me that was very difficult for me. I've talked about this on the past. I'm sure it's going to be in the fucking documentary that I signed up for. I talked about this. The article that Aiden wrote about me was my first real dabble into public embarrassment and shame. We've come a long way since then. And it was very traumatic for me. I didn't know how to handle it. I spoke about how the night that this came out, it was so overwhelming that I thought that not existing was a better option. And I'm glad I pushed through and, was like, okay, I can handle this. I'm okay. I had to discipline myself to say the words in the article were mine and everything that was written was about me, and not to get mad at the person who wrote them. I am very proud of that accomplishment. I don't really care if people understand it or they don't. I don't know many people that had an article written about them on a blog like that are actually like friendly with that person anymore. Maybe there are a couple of us out there, but I for me, don't care whether people understand it or not. That's about me and who the kind of person I am. And if I am being very honest, in some respects, it makes me feel like I'm a better person than him, because he never called me. He never messaged me. He never got my side of that story. He just went with it for shock value. He went for it for clicks and views, and he did it without ever getting the other side, which is something I never, ever do. And so in my mind, by forgiving him, that put me above him. So if you really must know, the forgiveness was about healing and being okay, but it was also about me realizing I would never do that. Good morning. Last day today.
What's this?
It's our last stream together. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Derek says hi and goodbye. Let's give Derek a custom tip. Does it go all to you? Probably not, right? Fuckers.
Thank you. But yeah,
When's the last day? Today or tomorrow?
technically Saturday.
Saturday.
I might just not because why am I gonna?
I'm sorry.
I put my shift up. And even if nobody takes that, I might just not. Depends if someone's working. If someone's working, I'll come in. But
Don't let it get you down.
whatever.
You know what I mean?
It's fine.
This is just small life stuff. Did you get a new tattoo, dude? Dude, what?
I gotta ask them.
Did you get another job?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I had an opportunity for one, but it's like an engineering job. It's like before.
Yeah, you told me that.
Did it just because I
Yeah.
don't have that like faith in myself. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
I like what I do now to an extent.
Yeah.
So
If you need help with a job or anything. Hi, good morning. You know how to get in touch with me through Jack. I said if you need help getting a job or finding something right, I'll use my platform, put it out there. You know how to get in touch with me.
I mean I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm doing good there anyway.
Okay.
However, it's going to be another couple of months before I look for a job.
Let me know if I can help. I know. That's why I don't want that for Jack, because he wants this new job, and I'm like, I don't love it.
Like, it's worth it. Like I think like when I look at the money, it's worth it. But,
Yeah.
Like, it's draining.
I know. You're too young. You got to have some balance.
Hey, fine. It was just like then this whole thing happened. I'm not motivated or what.
Listen,
What?
get your head right about it. You'll be fine. Come to the house and come swimming, please. Come to the house and come swimming. Okay. Bye. All right. So, thank you for allowing me to have that conversation and go off topic a little bit. I really, put some thought into what I was doing here, and that's that. The second part about the statement that it's a waste of talent. I personally don't think I'm very good at reviewing court documents. I reviewed the Kelsey Fitzsimmons court documents not too long ago. And honestly, that was to help out Kelsey, right? To do a live read of it and get it out there. And there was a case that I had covered. I didn't really want to do it. It was in the middle of the day. I just don't like it. And I just don't think that that's what I'm good at. You know what I mean? I just don't think that's what I'm good at. I don't want to do it, actually. So that's it. Like, it really just is no more than that. I don't want to fucking talk about your court case. I don't want to go over court documents. And it's not exclusive to Aiden. I don't watch other people's shows on my show. I think it's cheap views. I really do. I think it's cheap views when you stream other people's shit. Unless you're like a comedy commentator and you're doing that part and that's your stick. But that's not what I do either. So I don't want to do it. And the reason I don't want to do it is because I don't want to do it. And to say that I'm a waste of a talent because I don't want to fucking talk about your stuff is crazy to me. I mean, tell me you haven't watched my shows without telling me you haven't watched my shows. My shows are so much more than that. And by the way, there was an evolution that was happening. I was already feeling like things were getting a little stale. I was already saying I wanted a little bit more structure. My viewers know that. These people that pop in or just watch clips that their friends send them don't really understand what was going on here. But I understood. It wasn't even like, it wasn't because of views. It was how I was feeling. I wanted we talked about it, so I'm not going to get into that. But, to hear Aiden say, like, I don't like her show now. Well, I didn't think you needed 7 days of a valid truth journey against Meredith, but I fucking was encouraging you and saying, okay. I mean, by day 3, I was ready to put a bullet in my fucking temple, dude. How much fucking longer do we have to do this? I didn't say shit about that. There is plenty of times where I pop into not even pop in. Aiden's was the only show I watched where it's just background noise. I'm basically listening to you say the same shit over and over again, waiting for you to fucking do something crazy, essentially. But I never criticized you. I never said you weren't talented. I never said it was a waste and that I didn't like it. I kept that shit to myself. How much fucking longer? And by the way, this is something I told him privately. I said, get back to what you used to be fucking good at. I said it once or twice to him privately. I'm not going to go on my fucking stream and be like, Aiden was so much better at this shit. He needs to move on. Like these people are to me, trying to tell me what the fuck to do. I gave you my opinion. You take it or you don't. It's so hypocritical for Aiden and Will and these people to say the shit. It's like, I don't know, man. I regret not saying everything how I feel. That's another thing I'm feeling today. I have regrets. I should have just fucking said all along and not held back on some of this stuff, but whatever. So there were some statements that were made in Will's stream that are downright bizarre, hypocritical. All Jess does, she won't apologize. She's so aggressive on her show. It's not how she is in real life. You know who else is like that? Aiden Carney. First thing that came to my mind is that commercial from the 80s where a dad walks into his kid's room with a box and he's holding weed and he goes to the kid and he's like, how could you? Where did you learn this? I did it by watching you, Daddy. I did it by watching you. It's exactly what you do. You do the exact same thing, Aiden. You are actually different in real life. You're way softer in real life. You're way nicer in real life. You're way more approachable in real life. On your show, you're a fucking asshole. And I never once criticized you about it. I never once told anybody publicly I didn't like it. I never once purported that you were a fraud. I just understood the assignment that how you are in real life isn't always necessarily how you are when you're on camera. And I don't care whether you like it or not, but you should have never said that because you also are different. Because if we are going to take who you are and your personality and what you do on your show as face value, then there are a lot of fucking anti-Turtle Boy people out there that are right, aren't there? Do you want me to pull up your greatest hits of saying some of the most degenerate shit in the world that I would never say and put that up against you and say this is defining him and his character and who he is? Or do you want to rest on your laurels like you did in front of the judge and say it's all satire? It's not all real. Which is it? So I can't be that bitch too? There's a lot of people in this fucking chat, a lot of people who know me in real life, who know my character and know who I am. My mods are built off of people that I've known for fucking 35 years. People I have real life fucking relationships with, people who fucking know me. I'm absolutely unequivocally allowed to be a hard-ass fucking bitch on my show because number one, that's what I want to do. And number two, that's what people seem to like. I would probably change it if I wasn't making so much fucking money every month. But when I worked for Fall River Reporter, I made a palsy $500 a week. It cost me $400 just to drive to Karen Reed. I make $500 a day some days now. So I look at those two things and I'm going, well, this seems to be working. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it's not compromising who I am. I'm very happy being a fucking cunt on my show because I balance it out with other shit. Like, this isn't like, I don't turn the camera on and be like, oh man, fuck me. I got to act like this bitch every day just to make a fucking bag. No, I fucking love it. And by the way, for those of you who have been here a long time, you know I used to do the same shit just about politics. I was this bitch on WBSM for 3 hours every Saturday. I'd run my mouth about Jeff Deal and Jim Lyons and the political fucking machine that is the fucking Democrats. And I would do the same shit, but with another topic that I just so happen to love. You just don't know me. And since you're saying that I'm not doing enough for you, let's go over that list that I sent you. I wrote a story about you when nobody did because I knew mainstream media wasn't covering it. I convinced my boss to let me write that story about you where he didn't think it had any value whatsoever. He fucking didn't like you because you blew him off years ago, apparently. So I fucking said, no, let me do it. On his time, on his money, I did it. And then I kept saying, I want to cover his cases. I want to go there. So while I was on the clock for him, I was fucking sneaking out of Fall River to go and cover Aiden Carney cases. And then he'd see me tweeting and he'd be like, bitch, where are you? And I'd be like, trust me, it's worth it. Then I interviewed Ken Mello just because nobody else was. Then I went and covered your case because Grant Smith Ellis was lying about you from court. He was lying about what was happening in court. And I was like, this isn't right. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to fucking live tweet from court for him. Fuck this. You can't just have this one weirdo fucking lying. And again, went against what my employer was telling me to do and went and covered cases to give you a fair fucking shake out there. By the way, when nobody was doing it, nobody. Just people who wanted to destroy you were out there doing it. I didn't get the views back then, Aiden, when I was covering your court cases. I had a couple hundred people. I didn't get the views until Karen Reed. So with no money and no views, I still did it anyway. I mean, and then the list just goes on and on and on. Not sitting at home and going, what can I do to get something from Aiden? I know. I'm going to give up my seat in the fucking courtroom for closing argument. Tears welled up in my eyes the minute I fucking walked out the door. I was so fucking mad at myself that I gave that seat, but felt like it was the right thing to do. And I think actually that's like a testimony to like true character is you do the right thing even when it's not fucking easy, right? Because I'm a greedy bitch and I wanted to be in there too. Did he give up his seat on fucking the day that the fucking verdict came out for me? No. He knew I was downstairs sitting in a fucking corner with fucking Jesus Christ, Nick Rocco. No, I sat downstairs and I missed it. He didn't advocate for me to get in there, nothing. Which leads me to what has Aiden Carney actually done for me? If this is some whole fucking theory that I do all this shit for Aiden so that I can get something out of it, where is it? What did I get? I'm wondering, what the fuck did I get out of this? Where is it? Where is the fucking payoff? Where's the bag? What did I get up from him? I've done my fair share. I've done enough. I was doing enough and doing way more than anybody in real life. It's very easy to fucking go over court documents while you're getting fucking views and getting paid for it. Where is the actual stuff people are doing for Aiden without getting anything for it? And maybe that exists. I mean, I'm not sitting here going through it. There is possible that there are people that have done shit for him and haven't made a dime. I don't really know. I'm not really thinking about other people right now. But on my ends, what have I gotten out of any of the things that I've done for him? What did I get for lying about the fucking flip audio? You know what I got out of that? I got him taking a fucking screenshot and sending it to Meredith, and she fucking exposed me for lying to my followers. I lied to my fucking followers for him, and that is the one fucking time I ever did, and I had the embarrassment of letting my fucking fans down. That's what I got out of that one. Yay. Yay me. What did I get out of him playing the Karen Reed audio for me? Shit. I got shit. Because once fucking his fucking girlfriend found out, I wasn't about to lie about it. I wasn't going to be on record about it. As a matter of fact, I felt very much compelled to tell people I heard it because I don't know what the fuck Meredith's capable of. And I'm not going to lie about it. And to this day, I have never lied about it. And it caused people to not like me, content creators to get mad at me. When the real person who put us all in that situation is Aiden. And he knows that. I'm just wondering if the theory that everything I do for him is for clout or for something, where exactly is that clout? Where's the money? Where's the clout? Where's the benefit? What have I gotten out of this? I clearly didn't even get a friend who was so fast to throw me under the bus again. In my opinion, Aiden interjected himself in the Baker thing because his ego was too big. He got very mad that people were having these side conversations and he wanted everybody to focus on him. And instead of doing something like, I don't know, picking up the phone and calling everybody, he took it to his show and embarrassed everybody. And that pissed people off. He can do that. It's fine. That's his technique. In the world of politics, if a politician or a candidate wants me to do something, I get a phone call from them and we have a conversation and we talk about strategy. And they say, well, we'd like it if you do this. Jessica, we'd like it if you would come to a dinner at Brian Shortsleeve's mansion and talk about how you can help the campaign. Thank you very much. I'd like to attend. Let's talk. Mike Keneally, Jessica, please come to my office, sit down face to face, and let me talk about this. I'd like to have you and your influence support my candidacy. Thank you. Happy to talk. Aiden texted me. He gave me advice early on in this Baker situation. I chose not to take it. If at any point Aiden felt that he wanted to change the course of what was going on in the internet world, he could have picked up the phone and he could have called me and talked to me. I actually thought it was peculiar he hadn't called me. He didn't say anything to me. Didn't call me, didn't do anything. Just send me that one text and said, you're going to destroy your channel if you don't do this. I fundamentally disagreed. And I said, thank you. He offered to talk to me on the phone that Sunday when shit was hitting the fan with Baker right after the Four Loko stream. I said, thank you. I'll take you up on it if I need it. That's it. But what was happening is everybody's talking about shit and he's getting mad and he doesn't like it. And he goes up and he tells everybody, if you don't fucking talk about me on your platforms, you're dead to me. And I like scoffed and I was like, okay, dude, like I already don't talk about you. This has nothing to do with me. I don't use my platform to talk about you, which is why I leaned forward and went, I think he's talking about Will and Baker because I don't talk about him. So why would he be saying anything to me? I don't fucking talk about his shit. So let it be known that that's exactly what I thought. You know what I mean? Aiden brought that up basically like Jess isn't being honest about that. No, dude, the message sounded very, very directed to people that were usually talking about you and your content and they stopped. So that's not me. I don't fall into that category, essentially. You know what I mean? So there's that. So there's that particular part. So this stream with Will goes on, and then there's a very strange decision to allow other people up, which nobody is going to come up and go against what's happening, right? They're going to want to pile on. Content creators ready to go with their mics in hand, right? Ready for their fucking moment. And they get on there and they give their 2 cents. And listen, I shut it off. I mean, there was just no way I was going to listen to it. Because at that point, it's painful when you hear people piling on. My take on it is this. Aiden heard from, I don't know where, this, and I could be wrong about this. So this Baker thing happens, right, with the Jessa Walsh thing, and I don't think Aiden's paying attention at all because he's fighting for his life and he's got all the shit going on, right? And I don't think he's paying attention. And then I think there was probably like a statement made by the Broken Baker where he's like, you know, this is no different. The abuse that he suffered was no different than what happened to Meredith. And I think that Aiden maybe didn't authenticate that and was just like, yep, that's right. Men can be abused as well, right? Hashtag me too. And that supports Aiden's whole situation with Meredith. And he didn't always get a lot of support on that because a lot of people found it hard to believe that Meredith could be what she was, right? So now he's got another guy who's got a little bit of a platform in this whole place, right? In this ecosystem. And he is also a hashtag me too, right? And Aiden is just going to attach himself to that because that's great. Now you got a content creator that everybody seems to like. And by the way, Aiden thinks everybody seems to like him because he's never watched him. He's never watched how fucking creepy and sexual he is. He's just like, he sees everybody over there. Aiden probably looks at numbers and the guy does court documents and he's like, yeah, that's enough for me, right? It's good. But he never really looked at him. And by the way, I didn't either for a long time, right? But once you watch as much of The Broken Baker as I have over the past 7 or 8 days, you realize exactly fucking what this guy's about. So Aiden is just like, yeah, this works for me, and hence that's why he texted me. And he in his text included, and I didn't share the text. I didn't talk about it, but okay, I'll bring it up right now. I'll read exactly what he said about me and the Baker situation. I'm fine with that. But it included parts about what happened to Meredith and him. He was on his show. It was on a Saturday show. I think he started off the show on June 6th. And he said, I'm not gonna go at Jess Machado or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I just sent him a text during the show and I said, I appreciate you not dragging me. I'm struggling with what's happening, but I'm trying to take time to figure it out. Thanks. And he goes, of course, I'd never throw you under the bus. If you want to talk on the phone today, let me know. This was Sunday, the next day. I meant what I said last night, and I hate to see you down. But I really think you should reach out to Baker and talk to him directly. What Jess Walsh did to him is abusive and very fucked up. He didn't want to sext with her anymore, which is his right. She wouldn't take no for an answer and relentlessly called him, trashed him publicly, and sent him sex toys he didn't want or ask for after somehow finding his address like a psycho. He sent those pics to her to say, what the fuck? Why are you sending these? Not true. Despite all that, he didn't trash her because she's mentally ill and he didn't want to escalate. She sent you a message of him saying he doesn't like your show for the same reason she helped that woman move into her apartment. She's manipulating you. She wanted you to use your platform to shit on him. You don't have to like Baker as a person to recognize how wrong that is. When you said that Jess Walsh was a real one and mocked Baker's sexuality about the sex toys, you were legitimizing and endorsing her completely unacceptable and abusive behavior. She intentionally misled you about the context of those messages. You say that you didn't want to abandon Jess Walsh because everyone was shitting on her, but you didn't feel that way about Meredith, who was doing the same to me, and you rightfully didn't defend her. You made comments endorsing her as a person after Meredith and Kate Peter retweeted and shared the messages she posted. You may not have known she was doing this when you made comments, but you do now. And for that reason, I believe a private apology is in order. Today, you asked what you should apologize for, and you said you already apologized for platforming her. The apology should be for mocking her sending sex toys to him, saying he stuck his dick in a fleshlight when he didn't, and making light of what you didn't realize was several months of abusive behavior. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think it would be 1, the right thing to do, and 2, beneficial for your career. People like humble and humility. There is a way out of this. And he sent along 2 screenshots, one of Meredith talking about Broken Baker and one from Kate Peter, neither of which I ever saw. And he sent them to me. And it's basically like Kate Peter and Meredith taking what was happening with Baker and saying this whole thing or whatever. And then a third screenshot of Meredith. I never saw those or whatever. I responded, I appreciate this. I'm going to think everything over. And he said, okay, let me know if you want to talk. I said, I will. Thank you. Okay, so there's that. At that point, I think it's safe to say Aiden didn't know and still doesn't know some of the things I know. But I think it's safe to say that Aiden didn't know that there was a whole live stream about the unboxing, which everybody casually glazes over. But what I'm here to say to you is that is what made me feel and continues to make me feel like the way that this was being purported wasn't as bad as it is. And if you were having issues internally about a package or a bunch of shit being sent to you, nobody picked up on that on your live stream, including people like Criminally Confident or whatever that lady's name is, Lauren, because they were all in the chat. Everybody was in the chat watching an unboxing of all of the things Jessica Walsh sent him. He did a whole unboxing. I'm pretty positive that if I actually had a chance to sit down and talk to Aiden, instead of talking to him about me and him, I'd actually want to just fucking sell him on the story about what I think is true about Baker first. I'd like to sit down with my receipts and my screenshots and all of the shit I know, and I'd rather sell him on that than ever fucking try to get him to fucking come around to fucking me feeling better about this whole. I don't even care about me at this point. I'm still going all in on the Baker thing. I know more, and I am standing on that fucking business. That's it. And I don't care. I am allowed to have an opinion about anything I want. I don't care about whether people think that's right or not. I don't fucking care. I think Aiden could have just simply stayed out of it, but I'm not telling him what to do. But he interjected himself because his ego was too big of a problem and he wanted everybody to focus on him, which is very similar to every other fucking day of his life, which I'm not even complaining about. I'm also all about me. But this is him getting involved and he didn't know enough. Just like the fucking article he wrote about me. He didn't do his homework. He doesn't do enough. Maybe he doesn't have the time and he really doesn't care. That's fine. You're wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong. Okay? Everybody's got it wrong about the Jessica Walsh and Baker thing. And I maintain my statements right from the beginning. If he had just fucking not turned it around, it wouldn't be like this. But I know what is happening here. He is embarrassed that people fucking knew about him and Jessica. It was to be private. Nobody was to know. He was embarrassed about what he was doing because she's not the only one. And when she got cut off from him and she started telling people about their life and what they were doing, and when he told her he loved her, he started to do what he's doing now, which is fucking turn her out to be a crazy person. I stand by all of this. I stand by it. And I have every fucking right to give my opinion. And if people don't like it, you can come at me, you can trash me, you say I'm doing all the shit about the community. I don't care about that. I don't care. So this situation here, I'm very sorry that it has caused people to get emotional. You know, you've got to understand, I truly live by I do what I please and I do it with ease. There's nobody out here catching more heat or more strays than me right now. It is coming from the smallest of the channels to the biggest of the channels. And I still say, I will say and do what I want when I want. There is no amount of heat. There is no amount of bad comments. There is no amount of ganging up on me, live streams, petty streams, fake accounts, anything. No amount of unsubbing, anything in the world that is ever going to change exactly how I am, which is I say and do what I want when I want. And if anybody wants to stop me, good luck. I am going to say and do what I want. I have absolutely no business being told what to do by anybody. There are a bunch of fucking men out here that do that every goddamn fucking day, including Aiden Carney. Wakes up every day and not one person tells that man what to do. Not one time, Aiden, has anybody fucking called you and told you you're a waste of a fucking talent for sitting on a stream and talking about Meredith O'Neill for fucking 50 days.
I can't say and do what I want when I want. I don't know. Clip it, replay it, tweet it, do whatever you want. I am going to do what I want when I want. This mantra, this motto, this lifestyle has been in place since the day I got out of the grips of my fucking stepfather, and I don't give a fuck if anybody thinks that's bitchy or babyish or whatever. The minute I didn't have some abusive fucking man telling me when I could piss and shit is when I decided to do what I wanted when I wanted. It is how I'm going to live my life for the rest of my fucking life. And you want to stop that. You wanted to come on the show today and you wanted to be here with me to snuff out my voice and control it again. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Happy to do it on your stream. Happy. You take the views. I don't need them. I do just fine. I do just fine. I should note, you would be shocked at the people that are in my inbox right now. Lots of people who really, really, really would never, ever, ever do what I do, which is say what they want when they want. Who think that you did me fucking dirty. A lot of hypocritical shit going on around here. And it's a boys' club, and I don't care. I'm here now. I have every right to be here. I have every right to do what I want. And by the way, I'm not really in your arena. I'm here doing my own thing. I'm not covering Karen Read. I said that already. When it was done, it was done. That's it. I'm not covering the civil case. I'm not doing all of these fucking court. I covered Kelsey really because Courtney really needed me to. She asked me to. We hadn't talked for a long time. Courtney started talking to me just before trial started. I know that. I'll cover what I want when I fucking want. I listen to my audience. I pay attention to what works. And by the way, you know what? My audience is 98% women between the ages of 45 and 65. And guess what those women don't like? Men telling bitches what to do and telling me to put them on leashes. Why is it that I can't have bunnies, but you can have turtle riders? Have I ever fucking said shit about your fucking followers? Have I ever told you to fucking put your fucking turtles in a fucking aquarium? Why are you coming at my followers? I built this fucking base through fucking self-deprecation and opening up my life and sharing my family. I endeared myself to these women by talking about real life fucking problems and opening myself up, talking about my daughter's struggles, my daughter getting married, my son's job shit, my marriage that almost didn't make it, my weight. I talk about all the real things that I understand my audience fucking also wants to talk about. And I built this bunny community, and you're so wrong to tell me to leash them. Because I bet you any money, there's 1,000 people out there that have 1,000 messages from turtle riders in their fucking inbox where they were doing your bidding and defending you. Rightfully so. But now because it's me and they come at you, coming at my fans is crazy. Which leads me to the statements about my husband that were made. I've been married to my husband for 13 years. Maybe Aiden is not aware of the story, but I met my husband and we moved in with each other within 4 months, 3 months. We were engaged within 5 months, and we were married in under a year. And from the minute I met my husband, everything just kind of clicked. I had been through 2 baby daddies. And after my second baby daddy, I went out into the dating scene and I met my husband, and he had an ex, and I just knew we were going to get married. I've told the story before, and maybe it's the first time you're hearing it, but after our first date, we drove home in our separate cars and we were stopped at a stoplight, and I unrolled my window and he unrolled his window and he's like, I think we should get married. And I was like, me too. And we did. And there were a lot of people around us that didn't think we should get married because I had 3 kids and Jeff had a lot of like bad stuff going on with his ex, and he had a controlling mother, Portuguese, you know, and we planned our wedding and it was just chaotic. There was a lot of shit that was going on. And the week of the wedding, his family, his mother called us over to their home and sat us down and basically said, if you cancel the wedding and put it off for a couple of years, we'll pay for it and give you a much bigger wedding. And my husband and I got out of the house and we got in the car, and my husband said, I think we should just get married without everybody. And we eloped instead of getting married. And my husband and I went on like a 4-day trip we went to Newport, Foxwoods, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, and we had the best time. And we came back and we started our life together. And for anybody that knows, a blended family is very, very hard when you have kids and you have exes. And in our situation, it was really, really, really hard because I had an ex that was not caring and doing his part, right? And he had an ex that was dragging us to court all the time and making things very difficult. And that kind of pressure on top of raising 4 kids, working full time, all of this stuff was really, really, really hard. But we got through it. But several years ago, things got really bad for my husband and I, and we almost got divorced. And I really was just basically mentally like, we're done. There's just too much stuff going on. My husband was very angry all the time. He didn't lose custody of his son, but he wasn't able to see him. And it was just like really depressing. And I'm very proud that my husband and I were able to work it out. And, you know, we're here today. And I think we made it past that. And I'm very proud of our marriage. I haven't always been proud of it or the things that I've done or the things that he's done, but we held the line and we stayed together. Jeff Machado is literally a quintessential husband when it comes to his wife. If everybody wonders why I act like such a fucking confident bitch all the time, it's because every single day my husband tells me how pretty I am. Just letting you know. I don't know if there are other people that can identify with that, but my husband is constantly like, will just in the kitchen, my husband will say like, God, my wife is so gorgeous. Right. My husband also recognized that I want to do what I want when I want. And he never stops me from doing that. Right. Ever. Even when my ideas are crazy or they fail. You know, we started a business together. In less than 5 months, it fucking closed. And my husband was like my biggest cheerleader, right? Because he understands the assignment, right? The assignment is that he's married to a very strong woman, and that I'm not going to be told what to do by anybody. And he understands what I give him, right? So it works. For my husband to watch what's been going on over the past 10 days, right? And by the way, my husband definitely knows a little bit about the drama, but he doesn't really get involved unless I'm talking about it. Over the past the past week or so with what's been going on with the baker and everything, my husband is very privy to what's been going on. You know, there's a lot of live streaming happening and listening in my house. There's a lot of old videos I'm watching and commentary and stuff, and we're talking about stuff. And by the way, my kids are almost adults now. George is almost 18, Jack's 20, Julie is 25. We have conversations about this stuff. And my husband, I think, has understood lately that what's been happening is far worse than what it usually is. There's always these blips in the road, like with fucking LTL and all the shit like that. But the massive piling on that's been happening and the false statements, and, you know, my husband's on the side of me when I'm calling Tennessee fucking police departments, trying to prove that I didn't do a swatting call and all the shit. I think my husband is just really recognizing that I'm under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and he's paying attention. And I think my husband, you know, jumping in the chat, watching and then jumping in a chat and defending his wife and like going at anybody that's really taking shots at his wife is completely normal. I think he's not doing it excessively. I think he did it at just the right time. And I think that he's absolutely well within his right to do it. Now, I understand that the people complaining about this are not married, so they don't get it. So maybe when you are married, you can come back to me and you can say, well, this makes a little bit more sense.
right? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of content creators out here that are single, right? They're single. And so when you are in a 13-year marriage, please come back to me and talk to me about what you would do for your wife. I hope whoever you choose to cohabitate with and put a ring on it with gets to feel protected the way that I do. Maybe I don't deserve it from my husband because this is just too much for him. But this is the husband I have, and this is what he does. And the comments that Aiden was making, dude, I mean, you can say it, right? And you can do it. But if you don't have the ability to step outside and see that my husband was just defending his wife, right? As I think a good husband would. And by the way, really pretty much staying out of it, then you got a problem. And then to say shit like, if you see me, what the fuck you gonna do? I'll tell you what my husband would do. 2 hits, dude. Him hitting you and you hitting the floor. You know that. You know that. I mean, maybe you don't know. Do you know my husband? Have you seen my husband? Okay. My husband was in the army. And my husband would never. But like, if you're going to provoke and you're going to do shit like that, this is going to be very fucking a different scenario. My husband doesn't fucking play games. To drag him like that. Did you call him a hoe? My husband? You call my husband a hoe? Now, Jeffrey was angry and he was sticking up for his wife. And I've often described my husband as a bull in a china shop when he comes in and he's like, oh, he called me that. I don't know what he said. I don't know. I don't know what he called my husband. It was not good. And he was reacting to my husband being in the chat and my husband saying something about Aiden or like, who is this guy? My husband's just doing husband duties, right? Oh, he said, he said Jeff should put his hoe on the leash. Sorry, that's fine. His emotions are off the rails. Listen, Jeff Machado has zero ability to control me. The best thing that he can do is he can just support me and call me pretty and be available every Saturday at 6 p.m. so we can go on a date night and go and just try to reset our week. That's it. So I really, listen, I can say I don't appreciate the comments about my husband, but my husband was the one in the chat first. I'm just giving my 2 cents here. I really think that it should be very obvious to, well, it's obvious to all the women here, but I think it's not obvious to the beta males like Will and stuff, that my husband is just doing husband duties and defending his wife, right? Now, there was a factor into what I'm talking about today that I played around with this morning, like early, right? I've slept about 2 hours. And that is that there is a group of people that are going to be very happy about hearing all of these words. And unfortunately, me wanting to do what I want trumps how they're going to react. I'm okay with people who don't like Aiden relishing in this. And I'm also okay with people who call me a dumb bitch saying, we told you, Jess, right? You stupid bitch. I'm fine with that too, as long as you include this next part. The next part of this is very important. I still care very much for Aiden. I still want the best for him. I still will cover his case and go to court and live tweet. I will still do my part for him that I have done. I will stay exactly as I have been. I also will not share anything that I have never shared before, throw him under the bus, or do anything that could hurt him, his case, or anything like that. I have gotten anonymous text messages from burner accounts telling me to throw all the shit out there. Don't just go hard on him. Go to the feds. All this crazy fucking shit. There's just no way I'm going to do that. This is testimony to me and who I am as a person. I don't care if people understand it. I don't really care. I'm asking that you just accept it and just understand where I am. Okay. I have always said it has always just been Aiden, right? That's it. This is about a bigger picture and whatever. So none of that's going to change. This will, if he wants to talk and come on and counterpoint shit or whatever, happy to do that. I will do it with him. I'll do it on his show so he doesn't have to sacrifice the views or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, I'm happy to have a conversation. I'm happy to have a conversation off the computer and he can record it. How about that? And then he can play it on his show. I don't really care. I'm happy to talk it out and whatever, move forward, but we're never going to move forward from the fact that I do what I want whenever I want. I have maintained that I've never felt a sense of community in this quote unquote YouTube community because I don't ever look at this as like where I'm going to live for the rest of my life, right? I didn't start here. I'm not going to end here. I think I'm way better than what's going on here. Okay. And I've never, ever, ever tried to be like other people that are here. I'm very fucking different than everybody else. I'm not the same as Will. I'm not the same as that lady Lauren, right? I'm not the same as Baker. I'm not like these people. I'm nothing like them. I'm not like them in real life. I'm not like them online. I'm different. And that's why I do different shit. That's why I say what I want. That's why I do what I want, because I'm not like these people. And I don't mean any disrespect to them. And I can coexist with these people here and I can whatever. But when I see something and I want to say it, I'm going to fucking say it. I don't like that guy. He is weird. The motherfucker lied and told all of you that he got gifts from her and he was mad and angry. But what he really did is he did a live stream unboxing of them. And because they used to sext each other and how she used to talk about his big tattooed forearms and his hands, he did the fucking unboxing with his hands. Unlike any other unboxing that he's ever done. And he touched things. And he was tapping his fingers because he knew she was going to fucking masturbate to it. Like, are we all on the same page? I'm standing on this. Listen, I can't tell Aiden what to do. I think he should have just fucking stayed out of it. I think he could have fucking called everybody and talked it out. And he didn't do that. He only tried to call Will right at the end because Will was ready to go on a fucking petty stream about him. Okay, so I don't know. He certainly didn't pick up the phone and call me and tell me to fucking stop. And I interpreted that as everything's kosher, not like it would have made a difference. Obviously. Now, the next thing is about the bunnies. I don't remember who it was that started the bunnies thing. I started Besties. That started back on WBSM. When I started working, people would tell me you need a closing line. You need to end the show with something. My old creepy boss over there, Tim Weisberg, said, enjoy every sandwich or something like that. And I was like, I don't want to end the show because I'm sad when the show ends. I want to start something in the beginning that sounds like me. And I was like, hey, Besties. And it picked up. And so I always had the Hey Besties thing on the radio. And then I brought it over here, Besties. And then I was a bunny. And then we brought back Bunny After Dark and somebody started the bunnies and it whatever. Why is it that only Aiden can have turtle riders? Why we can only have turtles emojis? What the fuck? Why can't I have bunnies? I would never disparage Aiden's followers. I understand how important Aiden's followers are because when you're doing a live stream, you want to see people in the chat who are there for you, right? You want to see your fans. You want to see your followers. The fact that he went after my bunnies and told them I needed to put them on a leash when he has turtle riders doing his bidding in the inboxes across the interwebs is very unfortunate and sad. And I can't tell my bunnies to not go after him because I don't tell people what to do. It's unfortunate, but they're very upset about it. And I think it's terrible and I think it's sad. I'm allowed to have followers. They're allowed to have a name and they're allowed to do whatever the motherfuck they want to do because that is what we do on my show. It's not just rules for thee and not, rules for me and not for thee, right? Like, it's not just Aiden gets to do what he wants and his followers have to do a certain thing. On my show, I encourage everybody to do whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want. For the longest time, I didn't even have mods getting rid of people because I let people just say whatever the fuck they want. Now, it's a little crazy, so we have to block some people, but I mean, I'm notorious for fucking letting that MLP lady go on about Meredith in my chat because, like, she was a fan of mine. And I was like, leave her alone. Let her say what she wants. Her funeral. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to tell. Listen, the lady that inboxed Aiden, I still like the one that he posted about or he talked about. I don't have any messages with that lady. I've never talked to her. I'm not really sure she's a follower of mine. She could have just been instigating. I don't really know. I haven't had time. I'm fighting for my life out here. So I don't know. But listen, I can't imagine Aiden Carney at this point in his life is going to get that angry about one of my supporters inboxing him and saying anything to him at all. If I did that, I'd fucking be angry and fucking screaming and posting shit every day. Do you know how much hate mail I get? Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe some people need a thicker skin here. I don't know. And I really do mean that. Because Aiden watches everything. And when he sees comments against him, he gets very, very upset. Must be hard for him today. And I feel for him in that. The other thing too is like this whole I've said such nice things about her. Thank you. Thank you. I don't need you to. That doesn't give you carte blanche to go in and fucking do what you did yesterday and to fucking go after my husband. Dude, that's crazy. Prior to this, what happened yesterday, I had already been saying I'm on my own island over here. And I can't imagine that sticking around in what's going on over here is of any benefit to me. I actually think if anybody really cares about like having a life or a career for the next 5 or 10 years in what we're doing here, I don't think there's a benefit to anybody to stick around in this at all. I think people should really start fucking moving on and start developing their talent. And if Will said absolutely anything that I agree with yesterday, it was before Aiden jumped in and he started talking about like, hey man, I'm not going to be doing this forever. I didn't do it before. I'm not going to do it after. It was the only thing he actually fucking said that resonated with me. And I was just like, yeah, man, maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe, thank you for bringing that up. The Kimberly thing threw me off. He's like, I don't like that she calls her Kimberly. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, Aiden? Why would you even say that? What do you know? What do you know? And I texted him and he read it on air and he didn't read it on air. He looked at it because he knew he was wrong. Kimberly and I have our own little language between each other. Okay. It's Jessica Lynn and Kimberly Marie. And that is something that we do now because before we didn't like each other and we had to figure it out. Why do you care what I'm calling Kimberly? Kimberly,
Kimberly. And Kimberly shouldn't be dragged into this. And I don't like that you did it. And I'm not going to say another word about it. I'm very proud of where I've come with Kim, and I'm really glad. And I recommend Kim doesn't even talk about it either, because I think Aiden was just being, I mean, he was acting like a caged animal when he said that at that point. I can't believe you would even say it. It's so bizarre. So bizarre. You can't possibly be jealous of nicknames that I have, right? With Kim, that's weird. It's Kimberly. It's a girl thing. You wouldn't get it. I imagine it's like when you're with the glare and everybody, you guys take your dicks out and you like fucking put them on the table. It's like that. We just have nicknames for each other. I think that there was a lot of people that thought Jess should shut it down. Nobody should watch Jess. Jess's channel is over. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I lost like what 1,400 subs. Probably I'm going to lose like 2,000 subs. That doesn't matter because the views are still there, and the views are what the money is. Also, with that being said, the most important thing for me, to be quite honest with you, was that I had enough of money to do everything that I needed for my daughter's wedding. Because at that time I don't have a job, and working, to have enough money for what I needed for my daughter's wedding was very important to me. That is why I did like 40 fucking shows in April, 42 shows, 43 shows in April. I did so many streams in April, so that when May came, just before the wedding, I would have a huge payout so that I could spend whatever my family needed. I wanted my family to be comfortable and happy, and I wanted to be able to not go without anything on a weekend. You know, not just Julia, but everybody. I wanted Jack and Georgia to be comfortable. I wanted their boyfriends and girlfriends to be comfortable. I didn't want to have to sit back and ever pinch a penny on that weekend. I wanted to be able to just really have the freedom to enjoy a weekend down in Mashpee and my daughter's wedding. It was extremely costly. I think I spent $4,000 in a course of like 6 days, which is just crazy. But I worked my ass off in April so I could have that in May. And, you know, I struggle with the money at this point anyway, because I have a hard time spending it because it feels weird. My husband has even said it. It's like, you know, I thought we'd be doing more. It's just because I'm not used to it. I could take a financial hit of probably half of what I make every month and still be better off than what I was before I started this. And if that means I lose money to stay true to who I am, it's worked out so far for me. I have a whole history in this industry of just staying true to who I am, and I don't have any regrets, and I will never change that. And I have to actually have confidence in myself that that is my product, that is my brand, and that is what is going to work for me. It's what works now, and I'm not going to change it. In the event that stops, I will change. I'll revisit it, which is exactly why I started saying 24 on 24s. We were getting a little too chatty, a little too blah, right? So we were already changing it, and we evolve and we mix it up. Unlike some people who just wake up every day and do the same old stale shit, and people listen, but they're like, they're not really listening. You know what I mean? So, I mean no ill will towards anybody except the Broken Baker. I think you're a liar. Everybody else can have their opinions. Everybody else can, you know, exploit what's going on for views. Go ahead. Get it off of the backs of whatever is going on here. I don't know what else to say. I'm not really sure what else to say. I mean, I'll take a look and answer some questions if that's a good move here. Let me pull it up and see. I actually, just before I do this, I just wanted to say, the notion that there isn't anything else for me to talk about, or I'm wasting my talent. Prior to covering Karen Read, I have a catalog of work on Fall River Reporter. It is still there. I would recommend anybody who has any doubt, head over to, you can just type into Google Fall River, Jess Machado, Fall River Reporter. It's going to bring you to my page. That is still there. I have a good relationship with my former boss now. We didn't before, but we worked through it and we have been collaborating behind the scenes on stories and, you know, giving each other tips and things like that. But if you head over to Fall River Reporter, there's a catalog of my work there. Some of the work that I have was picked up nationally, and it has nothing to do with Karen Reed. And I'm talking about the Jacob Pothier case. I'm also talking about the anti-Semitic restaurant, Atlantic Sports Pub, and their Facebook post that went international. It was a crazy story that went nuts. That was at WBSM. But just to give you an idea about some of the stuff that I have worked on, CEO of Massachusetts nonprofit behind migrant shelter management earned $417,000 in 2023. Blue Hub CEO benefited from 2014 Massachusetts Attorney General lawsuit against Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Those are breaking stories. Those are things that I investigated on my own and I figured out. Massachusetts Attorney General Campbell files to block Blue Hub Capital retroactive liability protections. Hold on. Homeless Massachusetts mom waiting for emergency housing for months while migrants get preference. Why did Trump win Fall River? The open border, economy, and Ukraine among top concerns. Kathleen Martins to be deposed in case involving New Bedford Greater Tech student Jacob Pothier's death. Massachusetts mail-in ballots 4 years later. The estate of New Bedford's Jacob Pothier asking court to order deposition of Kathleen Martins. Fall River Police Chief Paul Garvin says reports on FBI raid are nothing more than rumors. By the numbers, transportation costs for Taunton Migrant Shelter and how they add up. Dighton Rehoboth girls field hockey team forfeits upcoming game because of opposite sex player on the Somerset Berkeley team. One of my biggest stories that I broke, migrant transportation costs at Taunton Hotel, $67,000 per family. Little known Massachusetts law ensures transparency in elections. 7 months later, why is the Jacob Pothier investigation taking so long? Emergency service calls to Taunton Hotel housing migrants up 700% over last year. A new housing law is the reason behind all the new apartments in Fall River. Here's what you need to know. That was me talking about the Communities Act long before anybody was ever talking about it. I mean, and this isn't even about my extensive work on the migrant crisis, of which Fox News covered, Newsmax covered some of my stories. But the problem that people fail to see is that when I was writing those, I had an income, a little one. Oh, my son's car like takes forever to start. I had an income.
Wait for connection.
It was a little income, but I had an income. And unfortunately, writing all day and just having a Substack doesn't pay. And that's why I have my channel to subsidize this work. Now, a lot of people are like, Jess is so good at investigations and she's so good at stuff. It's none of your fucking business when I write and what I decide to do. It's an election year, okay? And I work on politics right now. Behind the scenes, I do a lot of stuff politically. We have an election to win. And I guess a lot of people are just too stupid to understand and they haven't figured out that a lot of what's wrong in Massachusetts relates to the person who is in the State House in that corner office, hashtag Maura Healey. And I care enough and understand enough to know that elections will make the difference. And I'm choosing to spend my time, and I know a lot of people who know me know this, I'm choosing to spend my time focusing on things like elections. We also happen to have a big election in my own town. We have a state representative who is a Republican, the first one to ever hold that seat as a Republican. He's up for re-election. He's being challenged. And that's a very fucking scary situation because if we get a Democrat in here, it's going to change a lot of shit about everybody's day-to-day life.
Now, I know that there are some people who do the YouTubes who just stay in bed all day. Then they wake up, they smoke a bunch of ciggies, they go on the interwebs, and then they do a streaming somebody else's show, and then they do the shit. That's not my life, dude. That's not my life. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm out here as a political activist. I'm one of the few Republican women with a voice and a platform. There is far more depth to who I am and what I am, other than the stupid, fucking, boring, dull shit you fucking lame ass content creators put out every day. God, you suck. You suck. And by the way, I will maintain that's not about Jimmy, that's not about Kimberly, and that's not about Aiden. Everybody else sucks. Kimberly has depth. She covers a bunch of different shit. She's funny. Jimmy is obviously on his own fucking island. And Aiden is like great. He's amazing at it. Wonderful. Everybody else sucks dicks. It's insufferable. Especially Jimmy. He's so creative. It's why the Jimmy shit is fucking still not, I'm still fucking not okay. I'm not bringing those people up. I'm just saying, unlike Aiden, who wants to just fucking beat around the bush, I'll flat out fucking tell you. I'm talking about you, Will. I'm talking about you, Baker. I'm talking about you, Lauren. I'm talking about you, Law Girls. I'm talking about you guys. You guys suck. You're terrible. Like, bad. I'm not going to say shit about Danny. Still won't go. I'm still not going to do it. Whatever. It's another one. I'm just going to have to fucking just not say a word. Don't need to say everything. Just trash. Talentless. Where's the fucking... I'm a waste of a talent? Well, what's that saying for Will? Aiden doesn't think Will's talented because he basically is like, yeah, this is the best that Will can do. You sit in a room and you smoke cigarettes and you fucking stream other people's streams. Awesome. That should piss you off, Will. He doesn't think you're worth more than that. Hashtag he's not, but still, you get it. You get what I'm saying. I also think that every single person who has said anything about me this week is very much aware that there is a severe piling on, and people have absolutely no self-control, and they're piling on, and it's crazy. You guys are lucky I'm not, suicidal. You're lucky. Because can you imagine what this does to a person when you got fucking all these fucking people getting on the internet and then letting all of their fucking followers get into the comment section and go crazy and do all of that shit? Good morning. That's nuts. Crazy. I care about Aiden. Let me also say this. None of what Aiden said yesterday changes how I feel about Aiden. That's his behavior and what he does. I just want to maintain that there's a lot of people bitching and complaining about me doing the exact same thing that they do. Aiden made a lot of statements that contradict what he does as a content creator and as a satirist and whatever. There's a lot of what he was complaining about that he does himself. And so I am going to continue to just bet on me, bet on myself and my personality. If I make enough of money so that my car doesn't get repoed, I mean, the goal is to make enough money to pay for my car and pay it off so I never have to worry about a tow truck showing up every day. That's it. That's really it. I'm just looking to just make enough of money to pay the bills, That's it. That's all I want to do. I don't aspire for anything more. As soon as we get to a certain point, I'm going to sell my house, give the money to Jack in Georgia, and go live in one of my daughter's or my son's rental apartments and, hang out with Jeff every day. That's really it. I don't aspire to travel the world. I don't aspire to have a bunch of things. I just aspire to give my kids a wonderful, loving life. And I am currently in the middle of doing that. And I'm very proud and happy of it. So that's really the only thing that matters to me. This is fun. I really love it. You know, I hope that everybody can see that despite how bad it felt yesterday, it didn't really impact me in any way. And I think that I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that. My phone was absolutely, both of my phones were crazy last night. There's a lot of very mad people. I think I responded to as many as I could where I just was like, I'm okay. Like, thank you for checking on me. I'm okay. It was hard, but I really just needed to just go to bed, you know, wake up, sleep a little. You know, I got a couple hours of sleep, woke up, read some transcripts, looked at some stuff, and I was just like, yeah, this is how I feel. And that's it. I wish Aiden the best. But if there is anybody in this ecosystem that is like the Free Karen Reed Turtle Boy movement, what I would recommend is sincerely do not have any expectations of me doing what you think I should do, because the only person that governs that is me. So that's it. I don't know if we should continue today. It's 9 o'clock. I hate to do a short show because I love the gift of gab and I love to chit chat, but I'm home and I think I've said all that I need to say about this. I mean, I have to pee, so I feel like I have to cut it short. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I'm gonna move upstairs and I will take some questions. How about that? We'll do that together. I'm happy to do that. I have to pick up my car today. So let's go inside. Actually, let's do a sun salutation. Okay. That was a fast one. It was a mini one. I will tell you one of the deciding factors on how I was going to approach today. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. All right. One of the deciding factors, not deciding, but it was like kind of solidified being in a great mood and not caring about this, is today Portugal is playing their first game in the World Cup. Goddamn fucking Messi had a hat trick yesterday. And now Ronaldo has some sort of like fucking unnecessary pressure on him to perform. Listen, I'm a oh, that reminds me, Aiden said stay in Fall River to my husband. Okay. We love soccer. We love World Cup soccer. And we love Portuguese World Soccer. And so today at 1 o'clock, Portugal is playing. And my husband was supposed to take a half day. And now he has some sort of like a mandatory safety meeting. I'm very upset with it. Believe me, I was ready to pull a Meredith O'Neill and like message his employer and be like, dude, can we please, can we move this or can my husband, but I have to hope that my husband can advocate for himself on it. I just don't think he can. The meeting is at 2:30. The game is at 1. So unfortunately, as much as I am upset about this, I don't think we can go watch the game. We're going to have to watch it from home, which upsets me because unless you've been to a World Cup Portuguese soccer game at one of the Portuguese bars in Fall River, you haven't lived. It's an experience. Just go do it. I mean, this won't be their only game, so catch the next one. But like, it's a fucking vibe. So it's a monthly safety meeting though. They have it every month. It's the worst. So anyway, that's it. We're going to have to watch it from home. I'm fine. We're fine with it. I saw a meme the other day and it was like, might quit my job and just focus on the World Cup. I was like, yes. It's just like this every time, you know, like we're really into it. And that's it. So, all right, let me take a look and read some questions. Does anybody have any questions? I'm holding my phone, I'm watching, and I can answer. Lisa is saying the pylon has been disgusting. I've been out there saying they're wrong about you. You know, the only thing I will say is to everybody, don't put yourself out there because you're going to get people coming after you. You don't need to. It doesn't change anything for me. I know there are people that support me. Patrick Ford says, I do. When does the Bestie commune open? You're currently in it. You're in it. Just can I let the animal out of the cage or should I stay in the trenches? Welcome, Patrick Ford. It's nice to see you back in the chat. We do what we please and we do it with ease here. That is Martha Stewart telling us how she lives her life. I would never be so bold as to tell people what to do and what not to do. Please do whatever you see fit. Everybody owns their own words. Baker should apologize to you. Unlike the baker, I do not require apologies to be able to function in society. There's a lot of people that want apologies, need apologies, want me to make things right. No, thank you. No, thanks. No, thank you. I don't ask for apologies, and God knows there's some people that fucking should be giving them. I don't care. I just wake up and I'd be like, I'm sure they're sorry inside their hearts. I'm sure in their hearts or in their heads, they are apologetic and scared. I'm sure they're sad and they're sorry. You know what happens? God, right? Because we have the same God. He's so big and almighty. So God, right? He zaps down to earth and he like hovers over Will's head, and Will is sleeping, right? And there's like a cigarette hanging out of his hand when he's laying in bed with the ashtray on the side of the bed, right? And like the first thing God does is when he visits, he like puts the cigarette out because we can't have a fire at the new house. So God is just like, okay. So he puts out the ciggy, right? And he goes over and he uses his hand and he touches Will's forehead and it like glows where God touches it. And God can see and hear Will's feelings and thoughts. And inside his head, he's saying, I am terrible for treating Jess Machado this way. And God takes that, right? And then he flies back up to the heavens. And then he comes down to me in my bed where I am pretty. And I have my fan going and my 2 phones plugged in because we wake up every day with 100% battery charge. And with Scandal playing on Netflix on my TV, and my husband on the couch because I don't want him sleeping in bed with me so I can get a comfortable sleep. And God touches my forehead and it glows. And the first thing he says is, you are my chosen one and you are loved by me. And then he says, Will is sorry and he feels bad. And then God goes whoosh, and he goes up to the heavens where he lives and he controls the world and the universe. And I wake up and I blink my eyes and I go, I have peace. I have peace. Oh, and my luscious hair is blowing. My hair is just so pretty and it's blowing and it's blonde because I go to Rob Roy Academy. And that's it. I mean, and then what you can do is you can take that scenario and then like you can interchange Will for like everybody else that has done me wrong. Like you can interchange it with any other person. You can interchange it with the baker. That's not true. That's not true. Because Baker no, God does not visit him. But Aiden, he visits Aiden and anybody else that doesn't like me. Doesn't matter. And even though Jen Altman is Jewish, God visits her too. It's only Jesus that the Jews don't believe in. So just interchange that story and Will and just change it to someone and then come up with what you think the bedrooms look like for every one of these people. I'll have an idea in my head of what their bedrooms look like. And anyway, that's it. I wake up and I open my eyes and God is just like, Jessica, obviously, this is not a big deal. Handle it how I know you will. And then he goes away. And he wears lots of white fabric cloth and it just flows behind him as he goes up to the sky. Anyway, I remain unbothered. The only thing I didn't mention, which I will mention, is Jessica Walsh. Jessica Walsh has been very apologetic and definitely understands that a lot of what has happened with her has caused me grief. And that is enough for me. That is enough for me. And I don't want to address any more of that because I definitely do think there is some truth to some of the things that are happening, some of the things that she has done, but I look at the bigger picture. And I have, that's the Baker part of it. So there's that. Let's see. TT just texted me. She goes, I have lunch from 1 to 2. Massachusetts Youth Soccer Festival proudly supports Portugal versus the DR Congo FIFA watch party at Kennedy Park today at 12 o'clock. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Portugal versus the Congo. Match 2, kickoff 4 p.m. England versus Croatia. Wear your colors, support your team. Food trucks on site. This is put on by the Fall River Police Department. Let's celebrate the beautiful game and support our community responsibly. 12 to 6 p.m. today at Kennedy Park. What the fuck? I can't take Mauser. I still wouldn't go to this. I still want to be inside the clubs. That is still the better place to be. I hate to say it. But that's great that they're doing it. It's kind of a big deal down here. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go back to reading some comments. Resilient, not bothered. Love J7 and Kane's dynamic together. It's really the show nobody really thought would happen, and it kind of works. It's kind of interesting. Will's bedroom smells like dirty clothes and socks. Safe means no booze. I find this funny. It all went down when she was busy with her daughter's wedding. I agreed it's about the views. Starting this live, just glad. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It just hit me. All these backstabbers know that BB was lying about what you said, but they're still attacking you because you're the biggest competition, financially speaking. Listen, I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that. Who knew I would like Kane now? He's been sticking up for you. And yes, their dynamic is great. Kane and I have a very peculiar relationship. I really was just, needing to distance myself from him because there was just some comments that were really just not good. But it seems that when he's with Jessica Walsh, it kind of works. I am not sure what I'm watching. Spicy Misty says, I find it interesting. Will did this when Jess was showing real receipts. Listen, I felt and I still feel that things have to organically go about their business. And at one point, I really wouldn't care about the Baker shit anymore. I was getting close to that. before all this shit happened. These people are committed to misunderstanding you. They triangulated last night against you. It's unacceptable. Say Jeff has soccer fever worth a shot. Do you have any receipts to show us today? I am not going to be showing anything today. I'm not sure I need to give any more than what more do you want from me? Aiden DM'd Kane saying he'd mention his name. He'd flip on you and J7 in 2 seconds. Don't forget that. Did that happen? Aiden DM'd Kane saying he'd mention his name. He'd flip. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think it would be great if Jess would go join KMS. So listen, I stay in my lane. I thought there was a place for me adjacent to that. It turns out it's it's very different over there. Obviously, I think my fans know I really love, some of the people that are a part of that. And so, we tried it with Kane. I didn't know if that was really a great fit. For the longest time, I thought Jake was a part of that, but he's really not part of the original part of that. So he's like, I don't know. So listen, I try, but remember, we have hashtag no more strays. We cannot do this anymore. We just can't do this anymore. Speak on the Menners bomb you dropped. I sure will. Menners reached out to me and asked if I wanted him to come on the show, that he would love to do that. And I said yes. And I said that we'd put something together. That I obviously was going through a 2-week rebrand, waiting for the end of summer to end and starting new schedules and things. And so Menners reached out to me and asked, and I said yes. So that was that's where we're at right now. And I love that for Menners and for me. And I'm very thankful that he reached out to me and asked that. I also think that there's a little bit of like an acquired taste for some of these other people where you really just have to pay attention and watch. And in the beginning, you watch and you see things. And I've noticed it with some of my followers, like, listen, I listened in the beginning. A lot of the people were like, listen, I don't like this KMS stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I really tried to push it because I was like, this matters to me. I'm a big Kirk fan. I was kind of fangirling over the whole thing, but I pulled back a little bit when I could see that it wasn't really working for my channel, because I make adjustments. But then I also do feel like how I feel about things is how I feel about things. And you really just kind of have to it's an acquired taste. It's the best way I can say it. All right. I did not like Kane at first, but I think him and Jess Walsh just weren't for the same reason. Yeah, I think everybody just goes with the flow. I think at this point, we haven't even had this channel a year. And so I think it's important to remember a couple of facts about that, because that stuff kind of gets lost in everything else. If what I'm doing is so bad, it doesn't work, everybody hates it, then please explain how from when I started the channel until the trash man is here. I have some people for you. Can I send you to an address? I think what gets overlooked here is if all of these things are so bad and they all suck and I'm not good and I'm a waste of talent and all that shit, then explain to me how I started my channel in August of last year. And by February, I had 1 million views. And then between February and now, I got another 1 million views. 2 million views is a lot. And 1 million views between, let's see, February to March, April to May to June, in less than 4 months is crazy. That's crazy growth, right? And then aside from that, you look at like the money, and I don't know, somebody like put up like the money on the screen or whatever. Listen, I wasn't the first person to say this. Jimmy told me these online websites that like put up your stats and stuff, they're not exactly accurate. And somebody messaged me and sent me a screenshot of like somebody putting up my stats and saying I'm not making the kind of money. I've always been very open and transparent about the money. I sent that person a screenshot immediately of where I was for the month, because I like this person and I think like they should know the truth. But it's just like these third party fucking things don't really tell you exactly where you're at. And they also certainly don't account for the other revenue streams I have, which is my Substack, my X account, now my Facebook account, and then more importantly, PayPal and Venmo. So I joked and I said, can I use that with my accountant? Because I would like to go off of the numbers that they have on this third party site, and then I'll pay less taxes. But I don't really think it matters. But I think I'm one of the only people that's been very open and honest and transparent about like where we are and what we do. And I think every step of the way I've said like, wow, we had an amazing month. And last month we didn't have a great month. I don't see what's wrong about that. You know, I'd like to share. Oh, the merch stuff. Funny, somebody just said merch. So last night, I don't know what time it was. It was pretty late. And I was really still trying to like navigate through my feelings. And I was like right in the middle of where I was originally, which is like pain and like embarrassment and shock and all of the like the emo feelings I had. And then where I am now, which is like, okay, we're just going to we're going to hold the line. I was in the middle. And so I went and deleted every piece of merch that I have on bestieheadquarters.com. And I made some t-shirts, and I was like 30 seconds away from publishing it. And I pulled back. And the number one reason I pulled back, to be completely honest, is I don't know what's going on with my Shopify account, but it is just like fucking cycling. And I didn't want to have a ton of people buy a ton of t-shirts and then all get held up, because I have like 5 orders that are still stuck in the queue. But I guess one of the ways that I kind of handle bad things happening to me is make jokes about it. And there's nothing better than some good, funny merch. So if you go to Bestie Headquarters, there's nothing there, if I'm correct. There's nothing on there. I just took it all down, and I was ready to just drop some fucking, just some things that made me feel better, but we didn't do it. We slept on it. The only other thing I'm going to say is, the Bestieverse Facebook group. I remember when some fans asked me if they could start a Bestieverse page, and not a Bestieverse, like a fan page. And I was like, no, but my friend Amy, and I don't know if she's in the chat, Funeral Lady, I know her in real life. She lives in town with me. And we've become, really good friends through the years, part of our mom group. She offered to do it. And at first I was like, I don't know, do you really want to do that? Sounds like a hassle. But I do think that when you get to a certain point and you have fans, which I do, which is wonderful, the fans want to continue the conversation after the show. And I think that's where like KMS was born, right? Like the Minifan Network, like these people just loved the content and they wanted to discuss it and dissect it. And this Facebook page is that. That is the essence of what it is. It's a place for people to like elaborate more, share their parts of what I'm talking about. And it's like it's a good place for that. That's the intention of it. Listen, there's going to be spies in there. There's going to be people clipping shit or whatever. Just keep in mind that whatever you put in that group, it's not protected. And its chances are it can get screenshotted and shared somewhere else. If you don't want that, don't comment in there. We can't have nice things, essentially. You know what I mean? So this is what's going to happen. People are going to do stuff. Just be wary of it. I'm again not telling you what to do, but make sure you understand that, they watch all of that. One of the big things that's coming out of that page is there are people saying, there's a ton of shit talking Aiden in that group right now. Rightfully so. These are my fans. They're not yours. So the particular group of people that are protecting me are complaining about you because they don't like what you did. And that is completely normal reaction. And I've seen many comments from people who are saying, like, I love Aiden, but I don't think this was right. The piling on Jess is wrong. I like Will. Like, that is completely normal. And I am not in the business of telling people what they can and cannot say. I will not do it. It is 100% for real people, by the way, not trolls. If you got a fake profile and you're coming on and you're changing your name and I don't know who you are, you get blocked from this chat and from Bestieverse or whatever. But if you're a real person and you have an opinion, and there's some criticisms about me on there, we don't delete it. We leave it there. Everybody's allowed to say what they want when they want. I'm an adult. I can handle it. And if anything, it should show people you need a thick skin to be out here. Okay. You can't just have a bunch of YouTubers go on a live stream last night and shit all over you and cry. What do you want me to do? You want me to stay in bed? No. We're coming up and doing a show, which, by the way, is probably going to get more views than every other one I've had this week because everybody wants to know how I'm going to fucking handle it. This is going to handle it. This is how I did it. I love Aiden. My feelings about Aiden haven't changed. I think he made a mistake and only time will tell. You know, same reason one of the things too is he said, Meredith used to say you can't trust Jess. Jen Altman used to say you can't trust Jess. Newsflash, those are the people you couldn't trust. And they didn't want me around because I'm not like them. So if you had people like Meredith and Jen Altman chirping in your ear, and I'm not saying any shit about Jen Altman and Meredith right now because this isn't about them, but what I'm saying is if the two people, Jen Altman testified against you the other day or gave a statement about you. If Jen Altman and Meredith were chirping in your ear and saying you can't trust Jess Machado, they were right because they didn't care about you. They didn't look out for your best interest. They're trying to put you in jail, actually. I'm not. And so, yes, I am very glad you brought up Jen Altman and Meredith saying that you can't trust Jess Machado. They were 100% right. They couldn't, but you can. So that's that. What happened in wiretapping court? The only thing I saw, and honestly, I got cut off from finishing watching the Bus Stop Live from yesterday. I still haven't caught up with Aiden's, but I know that she went in and she is now changing the whole notion that she was in Rhode Island when the recording was made. And I think he basically said they figured out that that wouldn't be enough for them. So now I think what she is defending herself on is saying that when she recorded him, it was on an Apple device. And when you do a record, it instantly will say you are being recorded. And so she's basically saying, yeah, he knew. And there was a disclosure said. But I believe Jen Altman submitted an affidavit about it saying that, like, she talked to him and he knew that he was being recorded. I don't know the answer to that. And again, I didn't get to finish it, but if I'm correct, there wasn't a decision made right then and there, and there'll be a decision by the judge whenever. Those things usually don't take too long. I brought somebody in for criminal charges, and there was a couple. Good morning. There was I think the magistrate made a ruling in like 3 days, and I got it in the mail. Under advisement, right? Yeah, so you got Meredith saying that she disclosed that she recorded him and he knew. You got Altman saying that he told her he knew, but don't trust me. Got it. It's exhausting holding the line here. It really is, especially when that kind of shit like yesterday happens. But we remain unbothered. And then for those of you who are really trying to like distance yourself from Aiden and you're mad at him or whatever, the only thing I'm just going to remind you of is take all of the other reasons why I support Aiden away from it. This case is very important for independent journalists like me who do this kind of work in a non-traditional way. It sets the precedent for us and the work that we do going forward, right? So, I might want to show up at Elise Cherry's house, the CEO of Blue Hub, who is being protected by Maura Healey. I might want to show up at her house. I have her address. What if I want to go there and knock on the door and start asking her questions, and they want to arrest me and say that I'm, harassing, whatever. I need his case to go forward and protect him, so it protects me and everybody else who wants to do this. So, I can't tell you what to do, but I still, unequivocally support Aiden. I will never be streaming his court documents. I'm not going to play old shows of his on my show. I just don't do that. It's not my brand. It's not what I do. But I encourage people to continue to support him. If not for him, for me. Is this okay? Is this good? And then I'll just close with, I still will, accept the offer to have a conversation, whether it's on a show or privately, happy to do that. But, I'm not as down bad as everybody thinks I am. I think somebody said something like she's going to be a big girl and she can handle it. Is this good enough? All right. It's 9:30. We have Portugal at 1:00 today. And I think that's it. I am going to cut this one short. I think it's enough. Maybe we'll go live during Portugal game if we end up going somewhere. Today is Wednesday. We have Thursday and Friday, 24 and 24s. And then next week, I'm sorry, let's clear this up. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Quincy, do not eat those flowers. Quincy! Tomorrow is Thursday. We do 24 and 24 regular, but on Friday, Georgia doesn't have school. So we're going to do a from the office 24 on 24, no show on the weekend. And then Monday of next week is only 4 days of school and they are all half days. Come on, Reagan, let's go in. Come on, Reagan. So we're going to do, it's the last week of our regular 24 and 24s until we move on to the new style of show, which starts the Monday after that. I do want to say, I do appreciate my fans. I'm very thankful. I try my hardest to connect with them. I try my hardest to respond to messages. I'm very thankful you're here. I have the best hype team. I have the best bunnies. And they are unleashed.
It's all your favorite Jess Machado songs on one CD. Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Grab my glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. Before I leave, brush my teeth, say goodbye to Jack. When I leave for Bunny After Dark, I'm not coming back. It's all the hits you've always loved in one place. Just so everyone knows, it's alright because I got Jeff his new guitar. And that's okay cause my family is the best thing for me. Whether you're singing in the car by yourself or hanging out with your besties, there's a song for everybody. How much is that coffee at Society? Last week it was 50 cents less. How much is that coffee at Society? I don't care if this causes a mess. Recruiting seagulls, dishing about politics, or just straight up gossiping, this is the CD for you. One low price of $19.99. The chat I can't see. I'm driving and the sun's in my eyes. I love 24 on 24. I said I'm getting all the views. Sorry, Brian and Crawford, I told you before. Don't fuck with me, I'm a Fall River whore. Don't fuck with this Fall River whore. All songs, all decades, all moods, all Jess. I got a new life, you'd hardly recognize me. I'm so glad that Kayla Churchill and Jen Altman are not in my life. I don't care about all of my stupid haters. That is right. Eat my asshole. I saw the sign. It opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Get out of bed and call today.